This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, June 12th. The world was transfixed this day, 1923, on Harry Houdini, who freed himself from a straitjacket while suspended upside down 40 feet above the ground in New York City, and the world held its breath. It was on this day, 1931, Al Capone is indicted on 5,000 counts of prohibition and perjury. It was on this day, 1935, Senator Huey Long of Louisiana speaks continually for 15 and a half hours in the Senate's longest recorded speech. It was on this day, 1954, Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock is released. It was on this day, 1963, the movie Cleopatra is released, starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, premiering in New York City. At the time, it was the most expensive film ever made, $31 million. It was on this day, 1964, Nelson Mandela is sentenced to 27 years in prison, of which he will serve 18. It was on this day, 1978, David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, who murdered over a several-year period 6 people and sent the entire city of New York City into fear and hysteria. He was sentenced on this day to 365 years in prison. It was on this day, 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones movie, premieres. It was on this day, 2018, Singapore summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and our president, Trump. It was just 1 year ago, 2019, violent protests in Hong Kong, as tens of thousands of protesters blocked and tried to storm government buildings to stop extradition laws. But that was June the 12th in the past. This is June the 12th, 2020. Looking into the future, researchers, as they gaze into the future and realize that we right now are stuck at home binge watching Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and other platforms hour after hour. If that habit becomes a lifestyle, binge watchers could develop some very unappealing physical characteristics, including obesity, bloodshot eyes, premature aging, bad posture, skin and bald patches due to a lack of sunlight. But the artificial light from their screens have also prematured their age, and they have some serious under eye bags. The inactive lifestyles will result in varicose veins, misshapen leg muscles, and what is known as dead butt syndrome. So get off your couch. Is there really anything new under heaven? Yes, at least newly discovered. In Paris, scientists have now observed what is called the fifth state of matter. You may be wondering, what are the other 4 states of matter? Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. And now a 5th has been identified. Where? In space, for the first time, offering unprecedented insight into what can solve some of the universe's most intractable conundrums. Bose-Einstein, BEC, the existence of which was predicted by Einstein and the Indian mathematician Bose almost a century ago. They theorized that there is another state that is formed when atoms with certain elements are cooled to near absolute zero. At this point, the atoms become a single entity, but that was all a theory. These BECs are extremely fragile. This makes them nearly impossible for scientists to study on Earth, where gravity interferes with the magnetic fields. Just yesterday, a team of NASA scientists unveiled the first results from their experiments. And where are those experiments being held? 250 miles above the surface of the Earth at the International Space Station, where particles can be manipulated free from earthly constraints and gravity. We think we know so much when there is so much more to learn. Eli Lilly says it could have a treatment for coronavirus that will pass all tests for use as early as this September. In the meantime, the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, plans to reopen its main park in California on July 17th. And so there's good news, bad news, confusing news, encouraging news. But there is one truth behind it all. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, June 12th, 2020.